A couple weeks ago, we talked specifically about St. Joseph being declared the patron of the universal church. It was certainly a great honor for this very holy man. However, it is far from being the only time that the church and her people have seen fit to turn to Joseph for protection and guidance. In today's video, we'll take a look at other titles given to St. Joseph and examine their importance. First off, let's look at the recognition that has come from different places around the globe. Now, these aren't going to top being recognized as patron of the universal church. However, it is telling that many countries have chosen St. Joseph to be a patron saint for their people. Most of these are shared patronages, oftentimes with the Blessed Virgin Mary or a saint from that particular country. That being said, it is clear that these countries see St. Joseph as an important part of their religious culture, heritage, and protection. This list includes China, Canada, Mexico, Austria, Belgium, Croatia, Peru, Vietnam, and Russia. Of course, we know that we have patron saints for more than just vocations. We also have them for occupations and life situations. St. Joseph is the patron saint for families, fathers, expectant mothers, travelers, immigrants, house sellers and buyers, craftsmen, engineers, and workers. All of these titles are important, but I'd like to focus on that last one, workers, for just a moment. As I mentioned in an earlier video, St. Joseph has two feast days, March 19th and May 1st. March 19th was the primary and only feast day until the middle of the 20th century. So what brought about that second feast day? Well, first off, in 1937, Pope Pius named St. Joseph as the patron against atheistic communism. The Pope wrote, "We place the vast campaign of the Church against world communism under the standard of St. Joseph, her mighty protector. He belongs to the working class, and he bore the burdens of poverty for himself and the Holy Family, whose tender and vigilant head he was. In the life of faithful performance of everyday duties, he left an example for all those who must gain their bread by the toil of their hands. He won for himself the title of the Just, serving thus as a living model of that Christian justice which should reign in social life." This desire to combat the spread of communism played a role in the creation of that second feast day. May 1st had gone from being strictly a secular holiday, May Day, to the International Workers' Day, and a very special day of propaganda for the Soviet government. In order to foster deep devotion to St. Joseph among Catholics, and in response to those communist celebrations, Pope Pius XII instituted the feast of St. Joseph the Worker in 1955. He wrote, "The humble craftsman of Nazareth not only embodies the dignity of the arm of the worker, he is always the guardian of you and your families." There's one final title for St. Joseph that I'd like to touch on, Patron of a Happy Death. It sounds like a weird title, Patron of a Happy Death. Happy death does not mean cheerful. It signifies being peaceful, full of faith and hope in Jesus Christ. St. Alphonsus Liguori stated that since we all must die, we should cherish a special devotion to St. Joseph that he may obtain for us a happy death. St. Joseph truly died a happy death, maybe the most happy death, because it is assumed that both Jesus and Mary were at his side. I recently read that several months before his death, St. Padre Pio asked that a picture of St. Joseph be hung near his room. He would spend time each day quietly reflecting in front of this picture. It came out later that he had been praying each day for a happy death. This story reminded me of a quote that I had read years ago. Someone had asked Padre Pio why he prayed for the happy death of his great-grandfather, a man who had died many years earlier. He said he could do this because for the Lord, the past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. Everything is an eternal present. Those prayers had already been taken into account, and so I repeat that even now I can pray for the happy death of my great-grandfather. Time has meaning for us, but not for God. So there is no time like the present to pray for those who have died. And there is no one better to ask for help when seeking a happy death for those you have loved. St. Joseph, pray for us.